Shalom, shalom, everyone, and welcome to From Pain to Passion, Purpose, and Power with yours truly, Dee Dee Cooper. This is the day that the Most High has made. I am yet rejoicing and I am glad on this wonderful Shabbat, this wonderful Sabbath day. I pray that you all are having a great day on today, and I pray that you are so full of anticipation and expectation as to what the Most High will do for you on today. You know the word of Yah, and I always quote the scripture in Psalm 103 that says that He daily loadeth us with benefits. Every day we wake up to a new set of benefits that have been bestowed upon us by the Most High. Every day we are loaded with new mercies. And I share with you all the time that word for benefits, another synonym of that word, is advances. He gives us new advances every day, and He gives us new advantages every day. So I pray that you are taking full advantage of the advances and the advantages and the beautiful benefits that the Most High has blessed us with on today. I trust that you are having such a tremendous start or the end of the week. This is the 7th day, so this is the end of the prior week, but that you're looking ahead for a miraculous next week. That's my prayer for you on today. So welcome today. I greet you all in the name of Yeshua. Now, I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome you to subscribe to this channel. Please feel free to like the comments, give us those thumbs up. Be sure to share us on your various social media platforms, and you can also share these videos as well. So like, comment, and share. I respond to the comments that I receive, and you're just so wonderful, and I'm just so glad to hear your testimonies as to how the Most High is blessing you through this channel. So thank you. Keep the comments coming. There's some upcoming projects that I'm working on. There's new music that will be released. There's also a podcast that I'm earnestly working on to get started, as well as some other tremendous things that the Most High has in store for me this year. I just give Him all the glory, honor, and praise. I thank Him for expanding and for increase as well. You can also follow us on Facebook. We're on Facebook. We have an interactive page under the same name, From Pain to Passion, Purpose, and Power. And this gives us an opportunity to chat with each other. I post questions to you. You have an opportunity to answer the questions. It's not a quiz or a test. There are no right or wrong answers. I just love to share how the Most High is revealing Himself to you. This gives us an opportunity to support each other and to encourage each other, because that's what it's all about. So definitely join us on our Facebook page. We are also on Instagram, and we are on Twitter as well. So I praise the Most High for all of that. Now, last week, I began a series entitled The Big Three. And we know that during this time, the Ruach HaKodesh, was the Holy Spirit, is so gracious because Yahweh loves us so much. He's revealing to us those areas in our lives that hinder us from ascending from that place of pain to develop that passion for the Most High as we walk out our Yah-given purpose endowed with this power. And so last week we began a series on the Big Three. And we're not talking about General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, for those of you who are from Detroit as I am. But we're talking about fear, doubt, and unbelief. Fear, doubt, and unbelief are the big three. These three, and there are others, but these three will definitely hinder, thwart, stop, halt your progress in your journey with the Most High. It will hinder you from fulfilling your purpose in the Most High. It will literally stop you, if you embrace these three, from accomplishing anything that the Most High has given you to do. The big three: fear, doubt, and unbelief. So last week, We conquer the first of the big three, which is fear. Fear is fierce because it literally paralyzes your faith. It will stop you dead in your tracks. Fear. Let's take a look at and review some of the points that I discussed on last week concerning the problem with fear. Fear, let's look at the definition. It means concern or anxiety. Now, the Apostle Paul writes to us over in Philippians that we're not supposed to be anxious or careful for nothing. But in all things, we're giving thanks. All things through prayer and thanksgiving and supplication, we are to make our requests be known unto the Most High. So we're not to be anxious for anything. 1 Peter 5:7 tells us that we are to cast all of those things, cast our cares upon the Most High because He cares for us. So fear, according to Webster, is defined as concern or anxiety. Let's look at another definition for that word fear. Fear is an unpleasant feeling that is triggered by the perception of danger, whether it is real or imagined. It's a perception of danger. Where do you form perceptions of anything? In your mind. So fear is developed in your thought life, in your mind. Right? So it's an unpleasant feeling triggered by the perception of danger, whether it is real or imagined. Now, I discussed with you on last week the effects of fear on your faith. Fear, as I said before, paralyzes faith. What does it mean to be paralyzed? Paralyzed means to be in a position where you can't move. There is no movement. If you've ever seen a person who has tragically been paralyzed due to an accident or whatever, they can't move. They're stuck. And that's what fear does to you. It keeps you in a position of being stuck. It will paralyze you to the degree where you are even afraid to even get started or moving toward the direction that the Most High has you moving in. Now, we discussed also that of all of the wonderful things that the Most High has given us, the Word of Yah tells us that every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the Father of lights. So He's given us every good thing. He's given us an expected end. He has good thoughts toward us. Jeremiah 29:11, the psalmist writes about how the thoughts of the Most High are so many that He can't even count them all. So He has good thoughts for us. He's given us salvation through His Son, Yeshua. He's given us all things that pertain to life and godliness. He's equipped us with His Ruach in us so that we are enabled and empowered, because the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Holy Spirit, is the one that is called alongside us to help us, to empower us, and to enable us to carry out and to walk out what the Most High has called us to do. The purpose that He has for us, the Ruach HaKodesh, is beside us to aid us, to help us, to equip us, and to empower us to do. So He's given us all of these wonderful things. But 2 Timothy 1:7 tells us there's something that Yahweh did not give us. And He did not give us the spirit of fear. Yah has not given us the spirit of fear. Fear is a spirit. It is demonic, and it is not from Yahweh. But Yahweh has given us love. He's given us power, and He has given us a sound mind. He's given us love, which is a fruit of the Ruach, the fruit of Yahweh's Ruach, according to Galatians 5:22. He's given us power. You shall be endued with power, after which the Ruach HaKodesh has come upon you, Acts 1 and 8. And he has given us a sound mind. And another term for soundness of mind is temperance, self-control, which is also a fruit of the Ruach HaKodesh, according to Galatians 5 and 22. So the Most High, he didn't give us the spirit of fear. That didn't come from him. He says that if any man puts his hands to the plow and looks back, any man that draws back, the Most High says he takes no pleasure in someone who looks back or who draws back. Fear causes us to cower. It puts us in a low position, when the Most High tells us in his word that we're to stand therefore. And then he goes on to tell us how we're able to stand, being equipped with that spiritual armor that he has given us. So we're not to walk in fear. Fear is the exact opposite of faith. So we talked about fear last week. And I also shared with you a couple of acronyms, and these are powerful. The first for the word fear, F-E-A-R, meaning false evidence, appearing real. So fear is the opposite of faith, and fear is not truth. It's only false evidence that appears to be real. Fear will magnify something so large and make it so large until you won't move at all. Zig Ziglar, motivational speaker, he says this. He says fear has two meanings. It's either forget everything and run, or it is face everything and rise. He says that the choice is yours. So this is a brief review as to what was discussed on last week. I admonish you to go back and look at that video. It's absolutely powerful. So today we're going to talk about the second component of the big three, and that component is doubt. Last week we talked about fear. Today we're going to talk about doubt. Now, my apostle Frankie H. Young, Hope Evangelical Ministries and Detroit Ministries, she coined a phrase many, many years ago, and every now and then she will state this again. She says, have faith in Yahweh. And if you doubt anything, she says, doubt your doubt. So today's topic is doubt your doubt. If you doubt anything, don't doubt the word of Yah. Don't doubt the power of Yahweh. Don't doubt the wisdom of Yahweh. But if there's anything that is to be doubted, is your doubt. Doubt your doubt. That's the topic of today. So let's start by defining what doubt is. According to Webster, doubt is a feeling of uncertainty, or it can be defined as a lack of conviction. It's also defined as uncertainty, or to feel uncertain about. Now, the Ruach HaKodesh gave me a definition of doubt. This is a Didiism. The word doubt. You're not fully convinced. To doubt means you are not fully convinced. You have not fully been convinced to the point where you can take Yahweh at his word and trust him. It means to be not fully persuaded. Doubt. You're not fully persuaded. Also, doubt, it means to be halt or to be stuck or hindered between two opinions. Now, the prophet Elijah, over in 1 Kings chapter 18 and 21, when he was before the kings, soothsayers and sorcerers and magicians, he said, how long will you halt between two opinions? How long are you going to be stuck between faith and unbelief. How long are you going to be stuck or halt between two opinions? He says, if Yahweh is Yahweh, follow him. If Baal is Baal, then follow him. Make a decision. Make a choice. One thing that really disturbs me is when someone does not make a concrete decision. Make a decision. The word tells us, Yahweh says, behold, I set before you this day life and death, blessings and cursings. He says, but I would that you choose life. In other words, make a decision. The choice is yours. Make a decision. Not fully convinced. Now I'm going to go to Romans, the 4th chapter, and I'll be reading some scriptures out of my Bible. So if I'm looking away, it's because I'm turning to the scripture. And I'm going to the 4th chapter of Romans. The 4th chapter of Romans. And this, the word of Yah is talking about Avraham, the faith of Abraham. And I'm going to start reading at verse 16. And I'll read through verse 21. And the word of Yah says, therefore, it is of faith, that it might be by grace, to end the promise, to be sure to all the seed, not only to that which is of the law, but to that also which is of the faith of Avraham, who is the father of faith. Verse 17, as it is written, I have made thee, and this is what Yahweh promised Abraham. If you read over in Genesis, the 12th chapter, the 15th chapter, the 17th chapter, the 18th chapters of Bereshit or Genesis, you have what is called the Avrahamic Covenant. And this is part of what the Most High promised Abraham. So I'm reading again at Romans chapter 4, and I'm at verse 17. And it says, as it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before him who he believed, even Yahuwah, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those things which be not as though they were. So one of the promises that the Most High made Abraham is that he will make of Abraham the father of many nations. And if you read over in Abraham, at the time that the Most High made the promise to him, Abraham did not have any children. He did not have any seed. He did not have any children. But the Most High promised him here. He says, I'm going to make thee the father of many nations. He promised him over in Genesis. He says that from your seed will be numbered as the sand. You won't be able to count the number of your seed. Isn't that something? Let's look at verse 18. This is Abraham, who against hope believed in hope, that he might become the father of many nations. According to that which was spoken, so shall thy seed be. Verse 19. And being not weak in faith. Now here's Abraham. Not only did Abraham not have any children, he was old. He was beyond the years in which he was able physically to produce children. But here is the Most High giving Abraham a promise that he is going to have seed. The father of many nations. Many nations are going to come out of the loins of Abraham. And verse 18 says, who against hope, he believed in hope, that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken. So shall thy seed be. 19. And being not weak in faith, he considered not his own body now dead, when he was about 100 years old. Now we all know that according to biology, at 100 years old, You're supposed to be well beyond having the ability to produce children out of your flesh. Okay? He considered not his own body as being dead, being 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb. So his wife Sarah, her womb, she was barren. She did not have any children. She didn't have any children. Verse 20, he staggered not at the promise of Yah through unbelief. He did not waver. He did not stagger at the promise of Yah, but the word says that he was strong in faith, giving glory to the Most High, and being fully persuaded. He was fully persuaded that what he had promised, what the Most High has promised, he was also able to perform. So when you doubt, you're not fully persuaded. Now, if Abraham looked at his natural circumstances, if there was ever a person who could have doubted, it would have been Abraham. I'm 100 years old. I'm not a young man anymore. My wife's womb is dead. We don't have any children. And here it is, the Most High is telling me that I'm going to have seed from my own loins through my wife, Sarah. But the word says that he didn't stagger. He didn't doubt. He took Yahweh at his word. He did not stagger in his faith. He did not even consider the fact that he was an old man. He says he didn't even give it a thought. He didn't stagger. He didn't consider his body dead. Because if Yahweh said it, he is able to perform it. And that's faith. And it didn't happen right away. It didn't happen right away. And as a matter of fact, he tried to take a shortcut, he and his wife, through Hagar. But nonetheless, the promised seed, Isaac, came through Abraham and Sarah, just like the Most High said. And that word was tried and tested, but he didn't stagger at Yahweh's ability to do what he said he would do. And that's what doubt does. It causes you to question Yahweh's omnipotence and his power to perform his word, just as he said. Doubt is dangerous. Let's take another look at doubt definition. Now, this is a psychological definition. I always like to back up, give a natural definition, and then we go into the word. Now, psychologists say that doubt is a mental state. So if we're talking about a mental state, that lets us know that doubt begins in the mind. There's that mind again. It starts with our thoughts. So doubt is a mental state in which the mind remains suspended or halt, as the word says in 1 Kings 18 and 21. It's a mental state in which the mind or your thoughts remain suspended between two or more contradictory propositions. What did Elijah tell the crowd that day? He says, if Yahweh is Yahweh, follow him. But if Baal is Baal, then follow him. How long are you going to have your mind and your thoughts suspended between two contradictory opinions here? How long are you going to have your mind suspended between two contradictory propositions? The Most High is telling you to step out on faith. Believe and trust me. I've already ordered your steps. I've already fashioned your footsteps. I've already aligned the way. I've given you my word, which is a light and a lamp, so that the way is illuminated. I've given you the Ruach HaKodesh, that when you seek me, I will lead and I will direct your path when you acknowledge me. I will give you the know-how. I'll give you the tenacity. I'll give you the resources. I know that it's bigger than what you can imagine, but because I spoke it, I am surely able to bring it to pass if you trust me and have faith and don't stagger or waver in that which I've promised. I am well able to bring what I said to pass because my word is not going to return unto me void. I sent my word to you and I will accomplish the word only if you but believe. And then here's the contradiction, but it's too big. How am I going to do this? I don't know if I can. I don't have the wherewithal. I don't have the resources. I don't know the right people. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Well, it's not for you to lean on your own understanding, but the Most High, because he spoke it, just like he did Abraham. He didn't consider the deadness of his body. Don't consider the largeness of this purpose or this plan or this vision that the Most High has given to you. Don't consider it too big. Didn't the word say over in Ephesians that he's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can ask or think according to the power that's working in us? He's able to do that. So anything, because Yahweh is large and he's vast, he's limitless. What he's given you has to be large. He's not going to give you anything small. He's magnified. So whatever he gives you, it's a big thing. And through him and his wisdom, you're able to accomplish it. Don't doubt. Don't be halt between two contradictory propositions. And this is psychology talk. And this is the APA backing up Elijah, saying, hey, when you doubt, your mind is suspended in air. It's suspended between two contradictions, two opinions. Isn't that something? The APA also says that doubt makes you unable to be certain of either one of them. I have this over here and that over there, but I'm not certain about it. Yahweh. Hath the Yah said? Is this you or not? Not certain about either one of the contradictions. It's unable to be certain of any of them. Now, over in James, and I will read that also, that scripture in James, the first chapter of James, verses 6 through 8. James chapter 1, verses 6 through 8. And the word of Yah says that. And I'm going to let's start at verse 5. It says, but if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given unto him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. Nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of Yahweh. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So when you're wavering, you're going back and forth. You're tossed to and fro. Do I believe? Don't I believe? Doubt will have you suspended in the middle. Doubt on an emotional level. And again, this is the APA speaking. On an emotional level, doubt is indecision between belief and disbelief. It is an emotional level in which you are between belief and disbelief. You're undecided. You're not persuaded. The Ruach HaKodesh says to me, he says, doubt is a middle position between faith and unbelief. You're in the middle. Over in Revelation, John wrote, and Yeshua says, I would rather you be hot or cold. But because you're lukewarm, I will spew you out of my mouth. Be hot or cold. But I'd rather you be hot and have faith and not fear. Doubt is a middle position between faith and unbelief. We know that according to the word of Yah over in Romans, the 10th chapter and the 17th verse, that faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing the word of Yahweh. And when you hear Yahweh's word, depending upon the condition of the heart, depends on the condition of the heart, the enemy will come immediately to try to choke out that word. Let's look at the parable of the sower. Now, this parable is found throughout the Gospels. It's in Matthew, the 13th chapter, verses 1 through 23. It's in Mark, the 4th chapter, verses 1 through 20. But I'm going to read the account in Luke. And I'll be reading Luke chapter 8. Verses 1 through 15. And I'm taking my time in these teachings because we really have to get this. The Most High really wants us to get it. He wants you to get up out of the rut that you've been in and really get up. Find your passion in the Most High. Because in that passion is where He's going to birth purpose in you. And as you begin to walk out that purpose, He will give you the power to walk it out. So, Luke chapter 8, verses 1 through 15. And it reads, And when much people were gathered together and were come to Him out of every city, Yeshua spake by a parable. Verse 5, a sower went out to sow his seed. He's talking about a farmer who went out to plant seed. He's sowing, he's planting seed. And as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and it was trodden down, and the fowls of the air devoured it. Verse 6, and some fell upon a rock, and as soon as it was sprung up, it withered away, because it lacked moisture. 7. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up with it and choked it. Verse 8. And other fell on good ground, and sprang up, and bare fruit 100-fold. And when he had said these things, he cried, He that has ears to hear, let him hear. Verse 9, and his disciples asked him, saying, What might this parable be? In other words, Yeshua, what does all of this mean? Why are you talking to us about a farmer and he's sowing seed? What do you mean about the seed falling upon thorns and a rock and good ground? And what does this mean? Verse 10, and Yeshua said, Unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Yah, but to others in parables, that seeing they might not see, and hearing they might not understand. Let's go to 11, in which he really begins to bring clarity to the parable. And he says, Now the parable is this. In other words, let me explain this to you. Let me give you a deeper understanding as to what I'm saying here. He says, Now the parable is this. The seed is the word of Yahweh. So he's identifying what the seed is. He wasn't talking about a natural seed, although he was speaking in natural terms. But those natural terms had a spiritual connotation here. So the seed that Yeshua was referring to in the parable is the word of Yahweh. And those by the wayside, verse 12, are they that hear. Then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts or out of their mind, lest they should believe and be saved. So the word that is sown upon the soil of the heart and cast by the wayside, this is a person who hears the word, and then the enemy comes and he takes that word. He takes the word, lest you believe and be saved. 13. They on the rock are they, which when they hear, they receive the word with joy. And these have no root, for a while believe, so they believe for a while. And in time of temptation, they fall away. So these are those that hear the word, the word that is sown upon a stony heart, or a heart that's like a rock. These are the people that hear the word. And while they're hearing the word, they're excited. They receive it with joy. You hear the amens and the hallelujahs. They receive it with joy. The word of Yah says. But then it talks about how after they heard the word, that word will stay there for a little bit. But when they're tempted, that word then will fall away. The word did not take root. The Matthew chapter 7 talks about how the house that was built upon that firm foundation, and when the winds blew upon it, that house didn't have a firm foundation. It was blown away. But the house that was rooted and grounded on that firm foundation was able to stand. Well, this person who's received the word on a stony heart, they hear the word. They receive it with joy. But when the cares of life come, when temptation comes, that word then is not there because it was not rooted in them. Let's read on. Verse 14. And that which fell among the thorns are they, which when they have heard, go forth, and are choked with the cares and the riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection. So though the word that was sown in a thorny heart, the Bible talks about how the word is choked out because of the cares of the world. What did the word of Yah tells us about cares? We're to cast our cares upon Yahweh. He cares for us. Cast our cares upon him. And it says not only cares, but the riches and pleasures. You're so wrapped up in the world and this world system until the word that you've received and heard becomes choked out. 15. But that on the good ground are they, which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, they keep that word. They hide that word in thy heart. The psalmist wrote in Psalm 119, thy word, O Yahweh, have I hidden in my heart that I sin not against thee. And they bring forth fruit with patience. So there's several conditions of the heart, and depending upon the condition of your heart will depend on how you receive the word. What kind of ground are you today? Tuck that word in your heart. When Yahweh gives you that word, water it with the scriptures and prayer and keep it tucked away. That in due season, that word will bring forth. You have word so that when the trials and temptations and all of those things come, you have that word that keeps you grounded. Doubt occurs when you start to question and reason Yahweh and his word. The Collins English Dictionary says doubt means to consider to be questionable. Did the Most High really say that? I don't know about that, Yah. I don't know. That seems too big for even you to do. Being to question the word. It means to hesitate, to believe. It means to distrust. When you doubt Yah, what you're really saying is, I don't really trust you, Yahweh. It means to be apprehensive about. The Cambridge English Dictionary says that doubt is a feeling of not knowing what to believe or what to do. I just don't know what to do. I don't know if I don't know. I just don't know what to do. That's what doubt does. It causes you to be in a state where you're stuck in the middle, where you're hesitating, you're questioning, you're reasoning the word of Yah. Now, it is no sin for when Yahweh gives you something to go to his word. The word tells us that we're supposed to try the spirits, right? To see is it of Yahweh. And Yahweh is not going to tell you anything that's going to contradict his word. And everything he tells you to do is for his glory. It's okay to say, okay, Yah, I hear you. You write the vision, you write it down. All right, Yah. So what I'm going to do right now, this is what you've given me. And rather than just take off and run, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get your plan. I'm going to get your wisdom. I'm going to ask you how to implement what you have given me to do. I acknowledge. I've searched it. I know that this is you. I'm confident. I am fully persuaded that this is you. But now I need your wisdom as to how to do it. I need to know when to move. That's not fear. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. It means the condition of being uncertain, the lack of confidence. It means to be skeptical, to question, I don't know if Yahweh can do this. It is the status, according to Cambridge English Dictionary, the status between fear and unbelief. And this is the dictionary. It is the status or the position between fear and unbelief. It's fear, then doubt, and then unbelief. Fear, doubt, and unbelief. Now I'm going to read Mark, the 11th chapter, verses 20 through 25. And I'll be reading this out of the Amplified. And we know that the Amplified puts the scriptures in today's vernacular to make it clearer to understand. So I'm going to read these scriptures, Mark 11, 20 through 25, out of the Amplified. And it reads as follows. In the morning, as they were passing by, the disciples saw that the fig tree had withered away from the roots up. And remembering, Peter said to Yeshua, Rabbi or Master, look, the fig tree which you cursed has withered. You cursed the fig tree and the roots withered up, just like you said. Verse 22, and Yeshua replied, have faith in Yahweh constantly. Don't waver. Faith is constant. Now faith is. It's always now. Faith is always current. Look up the word now. It means in the present. It means to be current. But guess what now always also means? It means the time even before the present time. So faith is always constant. He says, have faith in Yahweh constantly. Verse 23, I assure you and most solemnly say to you that whoever says to this mountain, be lifted up and thrown into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart or in his mind, does not doubt in his heart in Yahweh's unlimited power, but believes that what he is believes what he says is going to take place, it will be done for him in accordance with Yahweh's will. You have to make sure that it is according to the will of Yah. For this reason, verse 24, I am telling you that whatever things you ask in prayer in accordance to Yahweh's will, believe with confident trust that you have received them, and they will be given to you. And whenever you stand praying, if you have anything against anyone, forgive him. Drop the issue and let it go, so that your Father who is in heaven, will also forgive you your transgressions and wrongdoings against him and others. So Yeshua is saying, though, if you say to a mountain, now, I've had the pleasure of driving, and viewing the mountains. I used to always when I lived in New York, I would drive from New York to Michigan and back and forth. And driving through those beautiful Allegheny Mountains at sunrise, it is the most beautiful thing. Mountains are very, very big. Now, I'm only 5'6", so if I were to stand in front of a mountain, it will seem like it is a very insurmountable thing. It's huge, it's big. But Yeshua says that we have the power to speak to mountains, big things that seems insurmountable, formidable, impossible. We can speak, but the condition is you can't have any doubt in your mind. You can't doubt. In your mind, you have to believe that the words that you speak according to Yahweh's will, that's why it is important to speak his word. Ministering angels hearken to the voice of the word of Yah. They respond to Yahweh's word, speak his word. Yahweh said, my words will not return unto me void. And if you don't doubt, when you speak to that mountain, it has to be cast out. It has to go. When you don't doubt in your heart, in your mind, don't be halt between two decisions. When you speak, you do just like Avraham did, and don't stagger at the words of Yahweh, but be fully persuaded that he is able to do exactly what he said he will do. If he's telling you to start a business and he gives you the blueprint and the plan, he's giving you his wisdom, do it as he orders your steps without fear, and give him the glory for it. Get his wisdom. It's not too big. It's not too big. Believe and have faith in the unlimited power and the omnipotence of Yahweh. My apostle also says something so powerful. She says, what you need to do, she says, get you a book of wars. Get a book of wars, a journal, and journal and write down your victories in Yahweh, to remind yourself as how powerful Yahweh is. He delivered me from this. He delivered me from that. He took me from this place. Then he brought me to this place and delivered me. And then he brought me to another place and delivered me. Surely he could do this. Isn't that what David did when he was confronted with Goliath? And he told King Saul over in 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter, he says, listen, I was in the field and I was confronted with a lion. And by the grace of Yahweh, and I'm paraphrasing, I slew that lion. And then I was confronted with a bear. A bear is larger than a lion. But by the grace and power of Yahweh, I was able to defeat and slay the bear. And now here I am confronted with Goliath, who is a giant. He is larger than the lion, and he is larger physically than the bear. But he is an uncircumcised Philistine who dares to defy the armies of Yah. And because of the covenant that Yahweh has made through my father Abraham, Yitzchak, Isaac, and Yaakov, Jacob, and I am of his seed, I'm covenant with Yahweh, and he is for me. If Yahweh be for us, who can be against us? I'm going to slay this giant too. He had to rehearse his victories. Rehearse your victories in Yahweh, and it will give you the tenacity, the substance, according to Hebrews 11:1, to stand. Glory. What Yahweh is showing you may look like a big thing, or you may be just facing some adversities. But the word tells us that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Most High, he delivers us from them all. There is nothing that is larger than Yahweh. Who can stay his hand? His right hand and his holy arm hath gotten him the victory. Now thanks be unto Yahweh, who causes you and he causes us to triumph in Yeshua HaMashiach. There is no defeat in Yah at all. The psalmist wrote in Psalm 46, he says, be still and know that he is Yahweh. He's going to be exalted among the heathen. He'll be exalted in the earth, in this earth as well. Allow Yahweh to be magnified in earth. And I'm going to leave you today with some quotes. This quote is from Susie Kessam. And she says, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. If you fail, you can at least say, I tried. But doubt, according to Susie Kessam, kills more dreams than failure ever will. It's a dream killer. Doubt is. You have to be fully persuaded in Yahweh, fully confident in Yahweh, and fully confident in yourself. Here's another quote. It says, your faith can move mountains, and your doubt can create them. Let me read that again. Your faith can move mountains, and your doubt can create them. Faith can move it. You can speak to that mountain and tell it to get out of here and be ye cast into the sea. If there's no doubt in your heart or unforgiveness, you can do it. But when you doubt, you're creating a mountain because you're making that thing, you're magnifying whatever it is above Yahweh. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, he says, doubt can only be removed by action. James chapter 2, he says that faith without works is dead. So, have faith in Yahweh, beloved. And just like my apostle says, if you doubt anything, doubt your doubt. Join me next week. We're going to be talking about unbelief. That's a huge one. We're going to talk about unbelief, Yahweh's willing, next week. So join me. I pray that the Most High will bless you. I pray that you have a wonderful and tremendously blessed week. I pray that the countenance of Yahweh will shine upon you and that his favor goes before you and that you experience Yahweh in a new and profound way. I pray that miracles unfold before you and that you walk in the supernatural blessings of Yahweh every day. Yahweh loves you, and so do I. Be blessed, beloved. See you next week. Shalom.